Thank you all for joining us for the National Conference on Law and Policy on Investments in India, Issues and Challenges, conducted by the Center for Investment Laws of Tamil Nadu National Law University. We will start the program with Tamil Thai Varthu. I request everyone to kindly remain standing.
கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்த கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்பரதர் கண்டமிதில் தெக்கனமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனமும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you all. I now request the dignitaries, Honorable Justice C. Saravanan, the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, Mr. MMP, and Mr. Vasishtan to please light the candle. Thank you. I now request the Registrar, Professor Dr. S.M. Balakrishnan, to give the welcome address.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். Very warm good morning to one and all who are present here. Today we are organizing the first of its conference of its kind. We have our own Center for Investment Laws. So this time we are organizing a national conference on investment law and on the policies there. So on behalf of the entire TNLU family, I would like to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice C. Saravanan, Judge, Madras High Court. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. A warm welcome to Tamil Nadu National Law University, sir. This is actually Honorable Justice Saravanan's second visit to our institution. Last year, he was the judge for the finals of the CCA competition, as well as he was the chief guest for the valedictory session. And he was a proud student of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. That is an added information. He was a student of National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, and he was a proud student of our Vice Chancellor, and therefore we are doubly happy and thrilled, sir. Thank you so much for being here. A warm welcome to Tamil Nadu National Law University, sir. I would like to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V. Nagaraj. Just because of him, lot of conferences, programs are organized in our institution there. Thanks to him, and a warm welcome to this program, sir. Thank you so much for being here. And I would like to welcome the conference director, Professor Mahendra Prabhu. More than welcoming him, a lot of thanks to him for burning the midnight oil and being working for such a long time. And the concept note was exceptionally well drafted. Thank you so much, sir. A warm welcome to the conference. I would like to welcome the Dean Research, Professor Dr. Hemalata Bhatt. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for being warm welcome. And on behalf of the TNLU family, I would like to welcome all the resource person chairpersons. Professor Dr. David Ambrose is here, senior. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Welcome to TNLU. Mr. Anand Akash Gupta, thank you so much for being here. I heard a lot about you, sir. First time meeting you. Yesterday, I think you got stranded in the plane. Thank you so much for being here. A warm welcome to Tamil Nadu National Law University. And I would like to welcome all the resource persons who are going to join online. Professor Varsha Vahini. Then I would like to welcome my good friend, Professor Balashanmugam from CUT and Thiruvarur. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And our own resource person, Professor Dr. Amrithalingam. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome. I would like to welcome all our senior professors here. Professor Dr. Aguila, Professor Subbarao, sir, Professor Soman, sir. And I would like to welcome all the participants here, the delegates here and the participants who are going to present their papers here. We have arranged a few wonderful papers here. So though we have a limited number of papers, the quality of the papers is exceptionally good. And therefore, we are looking forward for wonderful interaction with the presenters along with the resource persons there, and having a new insight and new inputs on this particular area, which is a developing area, which is not that much a common area as far as India is concerned, especially with the development of foreign direct investment law in India. Therefore, a warm welcome to all the paper presenters, all the participants, delegates there, and a warm welcome to our own students of TNLU, the volunteers, organizing committee. You know how much work they have put in. Thank you so much, and a warm welcome to TNLU family, TNLU. And I hope today will be an enriching and rewarding experience for each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Registrar Sir. I now request Mr. Harish from the 5th year to give an introduction of our esteemed Chief Guest, Honorable Justice C. Saravanan.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, resource persons, fellow colleagues, and the entire TNL community, a very warm good morning to one and all present here. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to our conference on investment laws. Today we have the distinct honor of having with us Mr. Justice C. Saravanan from the Madras High Court as our chief guest. Justice Saravanan has a remarkable legacy in the legal field, characterized by deep commitment to justice and the rule of law. With a legal career spanning over 2 decades, he had adjudicated on numerous landmark cases, particularly in the area of commercial law, tax law, and even public interest litigations. His judicious interpretations have shaped significant precedents that reflects his understanding of both legal principles and nuances of the business environment. I could remember one of the landmark cases or a case that our Lordship had delivered his judgment. It is about an elephant corridor case, and where he had given this significant word phrase, which I had even used for my environmental research paper. It is about private forests being used and being cultivated, and how the environment should be egalitarian and should use parenthood with respect to the environmentalism. One of his notable contributions include the cases, every cases that he had dealt with. Our Lordship is not only known for his legal acumen, but also for his approachable demeanor and commitment to educating the next generation of legal professionals. He has actively participated in various seminars and workshops, sharing his insights and encouraging young lawyers to engage thoughtfully with the law. Even we could say that he is a role model for any NLU student to become a judge of any high court. As we explore the pressing issue in investment laws today, we are eager to hear our Lordship's perspectives on the evolving legal challenges in this area, including the impact of globalization, technology, and regulatory changes. His insights will undoubtedly illuminate our discussions and guide our understanding of the critical intersection between law and investment. Our Lordship, we are truly grateful for your presence here today. Your contributions to the legal community are invaluable, and we look forward to learning from your experience. Thank you all for joining us, and let us now welcome our Lordship to share his thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Harish. Before we welcome our chief guest to provide his address, I request the Honorable Vice Chancellor to felicitate the chief guest. Thank you, Vice Chancellor, sir. I now request our chief guest, Honorable Justice C. Saravanan, to come with us and share his thoughts.
At the outset, I'd like to say good morning to all of you. Professor V. Nagaraj, Vice Chancellor, TNLU, Professor S.M. Balakrishnan, Registrar, TNLU, distinguished guests, professors, participants, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to one and all who have gathered here this morning. Let me extend my heartfelt thanks for the kind and generous opening remarks. At the outset, I compliment the Tamil Nadu Law University for organizing this conference on law and policy on investment in India, for the persevering with this event, which is a very topical and relevant contemporary topic. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this inaugural event of this conference. I'm indeed inspired and honored to be here. I would like to begin by congratulating the faculty members and the students of Tamil Nadu Law, National Law University for organizing an event that has attracted participants from all over the country. I am heartened to see such a large and enthusiastic group of young adults who I am sure will return back taking the expertise of the resource persons who have given their time for this event. I wish one and all a very best and a very enriching session. The Indian economy has evolved since independence. However, a large part of the economy is still unorganized. The Indian economy is a developing mixed economy with both public and private participation. As you're aware, after independence, India borrowed the Soviet model and a protectionist economic policy. It did pay rich dividends such as Green Revolution, White Revolution, which made the country self-reliant as far as the basic needs of the citizens, namely food and shelter. The monopoly was with the state in all the important sectors. Some of the institutions developed then are still paying rich dividends in the quest for intellectual growth of the country, even in these trying times of uncertainty which affects the world over as we live in a global village. In 1991, the balance of payment crisis brought the country to its knees and paved the way for liberalization of the economy. Many of the sectors were opened up to the private sectors and entrepreneurs were encouraged to invest in the business. It also resulted in foreign direct investment. We have come a long way from 1947 to 1991 and from 1991 to 1924. The liberalization led to opening of several sectors such as banking, insurance, aviation, infrastructure, automobile, and other sectors for foreign direct investments. The entire topography of investment climate has changed drastically for the better, and it is creating more opportunities in the countries. It is heartening to see that there is an increase in the consumer base and more disposable income in the hands of the youth. The Indian economy is no doubt thriving. With the thriving economy, the tax collection has also increased manifold over the years, giving surplus in the hands of the state for developing infrastructures for rapid transportation such as metro rails, express highways for surface transportations on roads, opening of the new airports and the seaports, and communication infrastructure. They together today form a backbone of the country along with educated mass of youth in the country. The states which have invested in primary and higher educations are also reaping the benefit of better law and order situation and thus making it attractive for investors to invest in their states. The state of Tamil Nadu is one such state in the country which has attracted different industries owing to its rich culture. On the whole, there remains no doubt in the minds of investors that India must be in their destination for investment. As one of the few untapped market with ever exploding consumer base, its highly and technically skilled workforce and with its standard of living, opportunity awaits the investors in the country. Despite the attractiveness, India may present a complex problem for an investment decision by a foreign entity. On the plus side, a relative political and economic stability, large market, and good profitability would impel investors to invest in different sectors in the country. On the negative side, bureaucratic control and restrictions and difficulties caused by policies and red tapeism and some of the archaic legislations can discourage investments. Therefore, the law needs to change to cater to the growing demands which did not exist earlier. In the weighing of these factors, which factor would govern a decision to invest in India is to be explored. It is also the responsibility of the legislature and the executive to make changes to suit the changing needs in these times. A robust judiciary with strong constitutional framework also is one of the factors which would weigh the investors in to invest in the country. The litigation, particularly in the commercial litigation, requires speedy redressal of the grievance of the aggrieved party. The Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 and the recently introduced Commercial Courts Act 2015 are intended to indirectly make India a preferred destination. The implementation of the Central and State and the Union Territory Goods and Service Tax Act 2017 are no doubt modern law which have subsumed several indirect taxes into them and are intended to give clarity to the investors regarding the rates of structure. These laws are, however, not free from some element of confusion and conundrum which may create uncertainties. The implementation of these enactments need to be strengthened, straightened and simplified by recasting some of the provisions which are prone to frequent litigations in the courts. Income tax law in the country is also very complex and needs to be simplified. Such measures will go a long way in easing out the stress associated with the investment climate in the country. Over the year, India has become one of the preferred destinations for foreign investments owing to favorable democratic index as well as noticeable and consistent growth trajectory. India's economic growth over the past decade has attracted unprecedented foreign direct exchange, foreign direct investment. Investment climate in India has improved considerably since opening of the economy in 1991. India has sought to liberalize the economy and has continuously opened up most of the industrial and business sectors to foreign sectors. In 1991, the industrial economy Since 1991, the industrial economy has been in the throes of major economic transition with policies reversing over the 3 years decades of inward-looking approach to industrial development. One of the fundamental component of economic transition is the liberalization of restrictive policy, including the opening of the many areas in the Indian economy, such as oil, exploration of power generation, once reserved to the state-owned enterprises to both foreign and Indian capital. In particular, the Indian government has sought to attract foreign investment in the country by undertaking steps towards enhancing the case of doing business in India with ease, as it has the effect of establishing long-term economic relationship in India. For the first time since independence, post-1991 period, has witnessed a rising share in the manufacture. One of the major factors behind the investment growth asymmetry that has characterized the post-91 Indian economy is that the demand pattern generated by external market, domestic consumption, demand, and public expenditure, and has been increasingly tilting towards the service of the manufacturing sector. With 1991 liberalization, the effect of foreign direct investment on labor, particularly with respect to employment and wage, continue to be an important issue for labor surplus developing economies such as India. FDI is increasingly claiming a major chunk of aggregate investment in economy. The economic analysis of FDI should not be confined to its impact on output and productivity alone, as the existing literature stands and must be broad-based to investigate its impact on the labor market as well. Understanding the labor market issue of foreign investment is even more important factor, as it involves the possibility that it can crowd out domestic investment with higher employment content. Theoretical understanding why has foreign investment got a differential impact on the large market of the host country vis-a-vis their domestic counterparts can be deduced from the industrial organization theory of FDI. This theory was proposed by Heine in 1960 and later extended by Kindleberger in 1969 and Caves in 1971, argued that foreign firms possess a bundle of intangible assets such as sophisticated product differentiation, management and organization skills, and superior technology, which provide some monopolistic advantage to these firms over the local and third country firms. FDI attracts high-skilled workers for their sophisticated production technology, and to prevent labor turnovers, they can also be expected to pay higher to the labor. In view of this, foreign investment can have a significant implication for the distribution of national income, as it tends to benefit only a minor section of the labor force, namely only the skilled laborer, by generating employment for them and awarding higher wages, better working conditions, and security of employment. The average wage rate of foreign and domestic enterprises in various broad sectors of Indian manufacturing shows that majority of the industries, foreign firms have paid higher wage rate than the domestic enterprises. The relatively higher rate wage in the case of foreign firm is in the Indian economy may have been resulted from the fact that foreign firms have been employing more skilled laborers for their skilled buyers technology and are paying relatively more to attract and retain such workers. In this sense, the skill gap between the foreign and domestic firms can explain their wage rate difference. bulk of India's workforce is unorganized in nature. India's workforce comprises nearly 92% in the unorganized segment, with the entire farm sector falling under the informal category, while only 1/5 of the non-farm are found to be in the organized sector. Estimates suggest that non-farm sectors, as we move up the income ladder, the share of the informal sector gradually declines. However, as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, irrespective of the economic class, the share of the unorganized sector remains flat. Further analysis reveals that industrial sector, the coverage of social security scheme for employees has been largely against the unorganized sector, who are economically and socially vulnerable. While the regular skilled workers are largely covered by the benefits of FDIs, the ever-increasing army of casual and contract workers, even in the organized sector, appear to have been sidelined, thereby widening the gap in the societal setup between the skilled and the unskilled laborers, and the standard of living between the two fractions. The issue needs to be addressed urgently. Otherwise, the country can be at the threat of unrest by these laborers from the unorganized sector. Over the past 3 decades, if not longer, the trade policy regime in India has made it clear that India is a better destination for agriculture sector as well and the industrial sector. For instance, allowing the foreign direct investment into India's retail sector has been both beneficial and detrimental to the farmers. The most glaring aspect of the decision to allow FDI that there was no provision for protection of farmers' interests. The only protective granted was the mandatory 30% procurement from the MSME. The examples of China is quoted often to justify the FDI permissions. However, China took over 12 years to liberalize its FDI regime, and in stages. It first allowed only 26% FDI in retail in 1992, and another 10 years to raise the limit to 49%, and allowed full foreign ownership in 2004, but only in certain cities. Private equity investments have been growing rapidly in India. Post-COVID, the recent trend of private equity investment in the Indian healthcare center is apparent. Private and equity and venture capital investment in India's health and pharmaceutical sector has hit a record of 5.5 million in 2023, a 25% jump from the previous years. Singapore's Temes has purchased a majority of stake in Manipal Hospital recently for $2 billion. Blackstone Hospital in USA is investing in care hospital chains, etc. And other hospitals like Apollo Group are also having minor private equity stakes in them. There's a huge gap in access to health care in India. Given the fact that private equity firm and investments stay for a short while more than the longer term of investment span after maximizing its profit, private equity firms, in order to balance the gap, would try to cut the cost elsewhere, such as payments to the staff's employees, etc. These investments might leave Indian hospitals in deep financial distress while leaving. A similar pattern was also observed in the US healthcare sector regarding private equity investment. This issue needs to be addressed, as otherwise the country is left with uncertain future. Finally, the bankruptcy and SARFAESI law are being abused to the hilt, and thereby leaving the operative creditors at the mercy of the financial creditors whenever a venture is distressed with financial defaults. The law has to be more friendly to the co-participants in every business venture and trade. Mere protection of the financial participant alone, without salvage of the situation, as it has a cascading effect on the economy. This is, of course, for the policymakers and the legislatures to take note of the abuses associated with these laws at a proper time. It is also turning out that insolvency and bankruptcy law is turning out to be a washing machine for defaulting borrowers to legally write off their loss at the cost of others. I would also request the gathering here to also weigh the cost of infusion of FDI and its impact on the agriculture. The fertile lands meant for agriculture is being plundered to cater to the ever-growing needs of industries and urbanization. Lands were given to the farmers and peasants at the time of independence, free of cost or at a nominal cost. The families which were into farming at that time, at the time of independence, are no longer farming. They cannot be blamed as the cost of labor has gone manifold time. However, they are selling the lands to real estate sharks and industries for profit. This is an alarming trend, and the rot has already set in. It needs to be corrected on urgent basis, lest the nation which is self-sufficient for its food may no longer be self-reliant. The Green Revolution and the White Revolution will dry out and will be a mere past glory if no urgent decision is taken to arrest these trends. Indiscriminate urbanization at the cost of agriculture by shrinking the forest and agricultural land, motivated with greed for development, sure spells a doomsday, and we may have to brace ourselves to a future from which there can be no return. It may be difficult to extricate at a later point of time. Mother Nature can take the abuse. However, there is a limit to it. We owe a duty to protect the nature and preserve it for the future and posterity. These areas need a crying attention. I hope the speakers and the resource persons will address on these issues as well and ignite the minds of the young and uncorrupted minds of the scholars who are present here in large numbers in person and through VC. They are our futures who may don the roles of civil servants, lawmakers, law implementers, judges, etc. I hope the event would inspire them and would be a catalyst for change in the policy on investment, which are good for one and all. With these few remarks, I wish to conclude my address. I once again thank the organizers from the Tamil Nadu National Law University for inviting me for this function. I wish all the participants a very interesting and brainstorming day. Thank you. Good day to all of you.
Thank you, Honorable Justice. I now welcome the Conference Director, Professor M. Mahindra Prabhu Sir, to give an introduction to the conference.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chief Guest, Honorable Justice C. Saravanan Sir, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V. Nagaraj Sir, the Registrar, Professor Dr. S. M. Balakrishnan Sir, and then the Dean Research, Dr. Hemlata Bhatt, distinguished resource persons, Professor Dr. Ambrose Sir, and then Abdulingam Sir, and my dear Akash Gupta, and the other resource persons, Balashanmuham Sir, and those who are joining online, Professor Dr. Harita Devi Madam and Varsha Vagni Madam. Very good morning to everyone. And both in person and online, the participants who joined for the conference, a very warm welcome to you. And it is a great pleasure to welcome everyone here for the one-day hybrid national conference on the law and policy on investments in India, issues and challenges. This is an event organized by the Center for Investment Law at Tamil Nadu National Law University. This event serves as an essential platform for exchange of ideas on pressing issues and opportunities surrounding the investment climate in India. I would like to begin by sincerely thanking the government of Tamil Nadu for generously granting us ₹10 lakh seed money in establishing this particular center as well as funding this particular conference. And this particular event was possible with this particular grant from the government as well as the support from the university. Today's conference themes, it is completely very much relevant on a rapidly evolving the legal landscape on globalization, investments, intellectual property rights, environment, climate change, and more. Because investment is not a kind of a very distinct regime which looks at itself. Now it is multidisciplinary and it involves different other fields too. So in this particular multidisciplinary perspective, we have to look at it from a different other perspective rather from only attracting the FDI part. And that is the reason why that particular themes of the conference that we have designed, we designed in a way that anyone can actually comment upon that particular foreign direct investment, not only that, but also the other types of investments that can possibly help elevate the economy and the impact upon those particular investments. So it is also crucial to note not all sectors are actually open to FDI completely. There are certain sectors still they have certain kind of limitations and restrictions, and ultimately it is the policy of the government that decide things. Though the central government do frame the universal, like what exactly the standpoint of a Indian government, the state governments also do play a role in those particular attraction of FDIs into the states. And it is very evident that we can see that in the newspapers, how the states are actually trying to attract the FDI into their respective states by bringing in industries, and the recent visit by the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to America, and that too for an investment matters, it really underscores the importance of this particular theme and the way the things are actually revolving around this conceptual part. And then the foreign direct investments, though the attraction here being widely recognized as key drivers of the economic growth by fostering a kind of an favorable investment environment, and countries that unlock this particular potential obviously at the what you can say that is the top of the ladder. And when we look at the recent ranking released by that of the global investment reports, that is the World Investment Report 2024, wherein India is in top 10 in FDI inflows, whereas FDI outflows we are in top 20. And this is something very encouraging. And then our net assets in that FDI and the related other investments in India, we do have an astonishing 6,000 billions of dollars overall till this particular date in the 75 years of independence. So in a way, we should not only look at the investments that has actually been arriving to India for a particular year. There are already investments that has been made in the 75 years. And those particular investments also require some sort of what you can say a protection, a continuing protection, and the confidence for the investors to continue things. Only then we can able to keep that investments within the country's thing. And we can very well see right now, due to the global policy of Chinese government, investments from China is moving outward. And there are countries which attract those particular investment. They are trying to relax their national laws and policy so as to invite those particular movement out of China into their respective country. And India is again one among them. And this is the way in which right now the entire global scenario is all about. And India is one of right now the world's largest and the most dynamic economies, and that plays a very central role. And we've been hosting the G20 summit earlier the last year that we have done that. And right now we are also part of the BRICS, and Indian government is also actively pursuing the global economic policy, and distinctive from that of the narrative of the West. At the same time, they do have some kind of an independent policy making too. And this we have seen that in the last 10 years. Earlier, these kind of narratives are something completely driven by the Western countries. Now we have seen that we do have to look at it from ourselves, the mirror reflection of what exactly the need for India. Ultimately, the policies also being shaped up in such a manner in the next decade that we may able to see that impact of this particular policy on the Indian economic conditions. Ultimately, the attraction of FDI is actually been influenced by several sectors, including the political stability, economic policy, and the ease of doing business. And we have to probably say that the last 10 years, our ease of doing index has actually been improved from 100 plus rank to that of something within the top 40. So that basis that we have improved the climate here, and as well as addressed by our Honorable Justice in his Chief Guest address, that the agriculture and the way in which the FDI and its impact on the agriculture have to be looked into, and how, on what basis, in the means and modes of industrialization is affecting the climate and then the nature, the mother nature. So on this particular note, we also thought about it and plan to have a kind of an relevant session on it. The theme 6 is very specifically looking on that climate change, and very happily that I can say that we have received some 4 papers on that particular theme, which will be deliberated during the technical sessions. And again, that we have to look at the kind of an economic models, because no surprising, mostly FDI is being seen, discussed only at the international level. But apart from that, we do have a kind of a discussion right now in our local newspapers, how the political parties, they actually advocating for their model of governance, and that too being driven by the economic growth. So it is no surprise that economic models adopted by the Indian states have become central themes in political discourse, especially during the elections. The performance of these particular states attracting the FDI, fostering the industrial growth, and improving the life standard actually has sparked widespread debate. There are different models by different states. There are top 5 FDI attracting states in India: Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra. So these particular states, they have their own kind of model and policy that attracts it. And even at the down the ladder, we do have a lot of states, and they attract less number of FDIs. So what exactly the reason for attraction more and then of the less, that actually put forth the concept for the competitive federalism. So how the states, they are trying to compete with each other in this particular aspect, and that requires a study. So how, on what basis this has made an impact on the Indian society. Ultimately, our theme 2 also focused on that. Though we have received less number of attention to those particular themes in the papers part, still we believe that there will be a kind of an interesting discussion goes on. And we received around 6 papers on that, and it is something very interesting for the participants to listen up on that note. And in this background context, this entire conference is set up, and we have brought together the academics, practitioners, policymakers, and the students from across the country for this particular conference. And I would like to take a moment to personally thank our esteemed resource persons for their unwavering support and invaluable contributions to this conference. And I thank you personally for coming down to Tiruchirappalli despite the weather conditions that actually troubled us yesterday. And my heartfelt gratitude goes to you, sir, for the distinguished resource persons for sharing their expertise, which has elevated this particular conference to a national platform. And a special thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V. Nagaraj, sir, for his unwavering support and visionary leadership throughout this entire process. And it is like the idea that I mooted out was very simple, and he actually encouraged me to go further. And ultimately, whatever the credits that we have received for the concept note and the background note, it is because of the freedom that we actually do enjoy in TNLU campus ultimately made that possible. And I have to thank Professor Dr. V. Nagaraj, sir, for this particular environment that we have it in here in our campus, and his commitment to academic excellence and his encouragement to forward-thinking initiatives has been instrumental in bringing this conference to the fruition. His dedication to fostering an environment that promotes research and dialogue and critical issues such as investment law has empowered us to organize this particular event of this magnitude and significance. And we have more number of online participants, and actually they are viewing this particular conference online. And our the in-person, the offline participation, though it is very little in number, we do have a surprising registrations. And we are happy that this particular conference will definitely help you to gain some knowledge on the themes that we have put forth. And I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to our Registrar S.M. Balakrishnan, sir, whose meticulous attention to detail and exceptional organizational skill have ensured that everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. His tireless efforts have been invaluable, and from coordinating logistics to addressing every small but important requirement. Even yesterday, sir was very cooperative in bringing all the guests and receiving the guests. Even the times have changed, but still we have completely managed everything at midnight. And his unwavering commitment to the success of this conference has enabled us to focus on the substance of the event, knowing that operational aspects were in the most capable hands. So this particular combined guidance and leaderships have been a cornerstone of this conference success, and we are deeply appreciative of their continued support in our endeavors. Finally, to our students and the participants, I encourage you to engage fully in today's sessions, ask questions, share your thoughts, and learn from the diverse perspective that is being going to be discussed in the technical sessions. And we have 5 technical sessions. The schedule actually will be already been sent to you all, and that will definitely give a kind of a new narrative in this particular background. And thank you, Honorable Justice Saravanan sir, for gracing this occasion with your presence. Your simplicity and wisdom are an inspiration to us, and it is like that sir's address actually been put forth those particular the impacts, that is the unknown impacts of those particular FDI, because everything do have a kind of a positive and the negative shades. So we need to look at both and deliberate upon through discussions. Ultimately, that can able to balance the motives and provide some kind of a benefit to the entire society at large. So with this, I thank you all once again, and I wish a productive and insightful day ahead. So thank you everyone, and thank you for your coming. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. V. Nagaraj, to officially publish the conference proceedings by handing over the first copy of the same to our esteemed chief guest. Thank you. I now welcome the Dean of Research, Professor Dr. Hemalata Bhatt, to give the address of gratitude.
A warm good morning to the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. It's my pleasant task to place before you the address of gratitude. And of course, I start by remembering the timeless wisdom of our Saint Thiruvalluvar, who said, "Ennandri kondrarkum oivundam, uivillai sei nandri kondramarku." The nearest translation is, "One who has killed all virtues will still escape, but not the one who has benefited and still remains thankless." So I think this is one occasion where I, as Dean of Research, on behalf of not just the Center for Investment Laws, but on behalf of all the research centers, I would like to place my gratitude. Firstly, I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor V. Nagaraj, who is the patron of this conference, and also our Registrar, Professor S.M. Balakrishnan, who is a co-patron of this conference. Ever since both of them have assumed their office last year, they have been encouraging all our members of faculty to take up research very seriously, to take up such conferences where we could bring subject experts from across India and try to see how well we can, put TNLU in the map of research and academics, not just at the level of our country, but see what are the possibilities to take our institutions' research across other countries too. So I profusely thank both of you for giving us this platform, giving us this encouragement, giving us the constant guidance and motivation to do. And I'm sure that in the coming days under their leadership, we will continue to work so that we get our due share of importance as well as visibility across other NLEs too. So thank you both of you, sir. Then I thank profusely the chief guest of this inauguration, Honorable Justice C. Saravanan. In fact, it's a rare occasion where the teacher and the student share the dais. Teacher is our Vice Chancellor, Professor V. Nagaraj, sir, and our chief guest is today his student. So thank you for taking time, sir, and being with us, and also sharing your perspective on the various trends of investment that we see, especially as you had rightly mentioned, the kind of investments that we see in the health sector post-COVID. And I'm sure there will be a lot of experts who will also be discussing about this eventually in the sessions that we have in the two-day conference. Then I especially acknowledge the generous funding by the Tamil Nadu government which is rupees 10 lakh grant for this center as well as the other centers too. And but for this grant from Tamil Nadu government, I don't think this conference would have materialized today. So I especially acknowledge, and in fact, a couple of days ago, the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly Assurance Committee was here, and our Registrar Professor S.M. Balakrishnan had presented the various activities that we have been doing as part of the research centers which have got the generous funding from the Tamil Nadu government. And I'm sure the Assurance Committee chairperson has taken note of all the efforts and all the activities that we have done, and hopefully the government of Tamil Nadu will also support us in future so that we have more such academic exchanges. Next, I would like to thank all the subject experts, resource persons, senior academicians who have joined us both today in the physical mode as well as in the online mode. And it's your presence that enriches this conference. So thank you all the subject experts and senior academicians who have joined, and also the paper presenters who are scholars, students, and also the other teachers from other NLUs and law colleges who will be, kind of enriching the discussions that we are going to have in this conference. Of course, my special thanks to the conference director, Mahendra Prabhu, and his team, the member, Mr. Vasishtan, who was once our student, and we are happy that we have him as colleague today, and also the organizing team of this conference, Dr. Pirsada Faisal, and our assistant librarian, and the teaching associate Arun Prabhu, and others who have continuously worked to take this conference at least to this shape, and also see how well we can have more such academic exchanges in future too. So thank you for working as a team and giving us this opportunity so that we learn from each other and we learn together too. Thank you. And I also thank the publisher who has kind of taken the effort to bring out the conference proceedings. And I thank all the administrative staff of our university, especially the IT section, the estate section, and the guest house staff and the housekeeping staff who have constantly worked to make this conference a success. And I'm sure we will get their support eventually also, not just tomorrow, but also in the future conferences, so that, you know, we have a very comfortable stay and also a kind of a very comfortable exchange of ideas. So thank you all the administrative staff for making this conference, you know, a success, and I'm sure that we will all work together in future too. Then I thank my faculty fraternity, my colleagues who are here to support each one of us and to support each other, and also the student volunteers who have been tirelessly working day and night to, you know, communicate with all the resource persons, senior academicians, to see how well the logistics is arranged, the food, everything. So all the student volunteers who have contributed for this conference, I really thank all of you. And also the students who are basically finally the beneficiaries of this conference. I thank all of you for your participation, and I'm sure you will all participate actively even in the technical sessions that we are going to have, and make this conference meaningful and successful. So if I have left anybody out from the list, so sorry, it's not intentional, but I thank each and every person who has been instrumental for making this conference a successful one. Thank you one and all.